Hey everybody. Well, I gotta tell you, I was really reluctant to buy this Lego set. Really reluctant. I wanted it, but let's face it, it's a $400 Lego set, which I think is why a lot of people aren't buying this right now. In fact, I thought it would sell out, and it didn't. The Lego store had a ton of these things, and it's not sold out online either. And so thankfully I was able to use some VIP points and knock it down to $350, which was great. I mean, at least that's more affordable, and probably where it should be. But this set is massive. This is going to be a massive set. Now I'm a sucker for roller coasters. I love riding them, and I certainly do love the Lego versions. So this is the Loop Coaster. It's brand new. It just came out, I think, starting July 1st of 2022. And this is set number 10303, and it has 3,756 pieces. So it's a huge set. This tower right here is massively tall. It's going to be so big, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get it in camera here. I'm going to have to figure out how to do it. But it's got this absolutely fantastic mechanism that you build here where you are, it's got an elevator where the cars, after they come around this whole track, come down here. There's a mechanism that unlocks it to make them go onto this little section of track here, and it's all by one crank. You just turn it by one crank. It's going to lift it all the way up to the top, and where it's going to drop it off up here and then drop them down into the double loop and around. It's a really short ride. It's much shorter than the 2018 roller coaster, but it's still really an amazing thing, and it even uses a counterweight mechanism. I'm anxious to see how that works and also building it. On the back of the box here we can see a better look of this and the mechanism that goes on. This is actually a pretty amazing feat of engineering that Lego has come up with. It's actually, I'm going to say it's probably going to be one of the most amazing things that they've probably come out with as far as the mechanical nature of it. There are some new curved pieces of track in this, and they're also in this new yellow coloring. And there's also this long track right here that the counterweight actually goes on. It's actually a pretty ingenious thing going on. Here you can see how they flip around. And I think it comes with 11 minifigures, which is great. There's the crank mechanism, and you can also motorize this, which is fantastic, so I'll try out the motor on it. It comes with quite a few figures that you can put around the park. The park itself is not that big. I mean, the highlight here is going to be the ride, and here it shows that you can use the power-up system for this. I don't have this newer one, but I have an older one that I think will work. But yeah, I mean, I already have the original 2018 version, which I do love, which is hidden here in the back catacombs of the spare bedroom. But I have gotten quite a bit of usage out of this over the years that it's been out. It came out in 2018, and I do absolutely love this set, and it's still one of my favorites. So that's why I was reluctant to buy this new one, but I don't know, the more I looked at it, the more I really wanted to try it. So I can't resist these roller coasters. Alrighty, so there are 38 bags total. They're numbered up to 14, but there's duplicates. And this is a big set. This is going to take a while to put together, but we have a ton of pieces on here. This is one of those sets that has the extra white box on the inside. We also have 4 bags of non-numbered bags that have all the plates and the track pieces in here. This is going to be a really fun set. I am really looking forward to this. The instructions just kind of show some of their past fairground type of sets that they've done, including the last roller coaster. I also have this, which is really cool, the haunted house. Absolutely love that. So they just kind of discuss all of this. I'm just kind of zip through this. There's the designer, and then just kind of shows you how all the bags, you're going to start building everything. It looks like you do the minifigures first and then the cars. That's cool. Looks like you're going to build the main stretch of this first with the loops, and then you're going to do the tower. That tower is going to be a pretty interesting build. One thing I'm not looking forward to is there is, let me see, well, I think there's 222 links to the chain, and that is going to be a really tedious part of this build, so I'm not looking forward to that. Here are the stickers that come with this set. Thankfully there's not a lot, pardon the fireworks in the background. It is July 4th today, so happy July 4th to everybody who celebrates it. But here you can see the different stickers here, and that one's pretty cool because that's the map of the park, and it shows some past sets right there. And these are awesome too, these little TV screen ones. So, you know, one of the complaints about this set is people said for a $400 set there should not be stickers on this, and honestly I have to kind of agree with that. These sets are getting ridiculously priced at this point, And if you're going to blow 400 bucks on a set like this, the least Lego could do is put some prints in here. I mean, really, at this point, stickers on a $400 set really is kind of inexcusable. All right, well, anyway, I'm going to get started on this thing. All right, so let's start with the side builds first. This one here is the little park bench, which is included with this, and I think it's really nice. It's just a small little patch of grass. Got this great little directory or map that shows rides from past sets, including all the fairground sets, the Ferris wheel, the haunted house, the merry-go-round. It's really cool. And then, of course, you got the roller coaster itself. I love this new squirrel figure. I'm pretty sure it's a new figure. I don't think Lego's made a squirrel before, which is kind of surprising. Here's the back. It's just kind of just plain, but it's a nice little side build. Next, we have the balloon cart, which is really awesome. I love the wheels. It rolls really smooth. There's a little kickstand on the back right here, so you can keep it from rolling. But I love this thing. You got all kinds of different balloons and colors. You also got the helium right here. And I love these balloon animal pieces. This is the first time I've gotten some of these. So they look really neat. I absolutely love it. You get 2 of those in blue. I wish you got extras of it. That would be really nice. And of course the figure can fit on the bike. This Pretzel Cart is another fantastic build. Absolutely love it. Got hot, fresh pretzels. Got the little price tag right there. $7, I guess. Kind of expensive, aren't they? They do have the wheels that roll as well, which is cool. And then on the back here we have some pretzels that are on the warmer. And these are all loose. You can take these off so that the figures can hold them if you want. I think that's a great build. And here is a hot dog cart or a vendor. This is great. I love how the whole thing is actually shaped like a hot dog in a bun. Nice little umbrella there. We got some ketchup and mustard for the condiments. Here's the back of it. Love that there is a hot dog and there's a couple of extra buns there. Actually, they give you an extra hot dog and I went ahead and used it because I hate to waste it. It's a nice piece. Looks like the little tongs right here. But you can see that they are on a grill where they're actually cooking on there. This is fantastic. I love this. That's probably my favorite of the side builds. Here are the employee minifigures, and I love the prints on these guys. Now I think there's 2 or 3 of figures here that are new as far as the prints go on their torsos, but these are great. So you got the different, I think this is the hot dog guy. She's probably the one that runs the ride. That's the balloon guy, and I'm not sure who she is. She's probably maybe the pretzel, maybe that's got to be it. She's got to be the pretzel girl. So here they are on the back. These ones don't have alternate faces. I do love the Lego logo on the back right there, but they have some great prints on their torsos, and they have some great looking faces as well. Here are 4 of the little park goers. They all have nice prints on their torsos as well, and they all have alternate faces, all 3 of these. So I love that I got the smiley faces on them, but a lot of them have these great facial expressions. I'll show you here in just a minute. For if you decide to put them on the roller coaster, they have that look of terror on their face, which is absolutely fantastic. So let me show you their alternate faces. And here you can see what those look like. I love these expressions. This girl here actually has not really any two, like one scared and one regular face. They're both just kind of regular faces, but I love these 2 and this guy too. I love that. So I'll definitely have one of these people for sure, or all of them, on the roller coaster cars. And these are the last 3 that we have here. So these 2 have alternate faces. This guy doesn't. This guy looks a little like Elvis Presley right there, which is pretty hilarious. But once again, I'm not sure which ones have the new prints for the torsos, but here you can see she's actually got a backpack on her, which is really cool. Alright, so let me show you the alternate faces for these 2. And I just turned their hair pieces backwards so we can see, but I love her face expression right there. That is absolutely fantastic. And this poor little guy, he's all sad because he's not tall enough to ride the roller coaster. Okay, and here is the set all together. This thing is so big, I can't even get it completely in camera. I mean, it's just massively tall. This tower section right here, I measured it, it's about 36 to 37 inches tall. It's a very, very large structure. The whole thing went together pretty good. It took me about maybe 8 or 9 hours, maybe 10 hours. I'm a slow builder, so it takes me a long time. I didn't really measure it, but I like to take my time on sets because, you know, half the fun is building these things. But what a feat of engineering this thing is. It's absolutely incredible. Now, there was some things that I would say were tedious about this, and I'll mention that here in a little bit, but I just want to show you this mechanism is nothing short of amazing how they came up with this. This is all chain driven. You can see the chain here, and then there's larger links that actually catch the lift right here. So it'll catch inside there and actually lift this whole thing up. And it's also assisted by the string. If you can see that string right there, which goes up over the top here where there's some pulleys. And what's also really cool is there's this counterweight back here. They actually have a counterweight that helps assist in lifting that, and it runs on its own track right there, which I thought was pretty darn genius. Another thing I thought that was genius is the way that they actually take these two pieces of track and they actually turn them on their side to make this curve. I have never seen that technique done before. I didn't even know you could do that, but you can if you get the space in between them right. You can match them up with the standard track, and I thought that was really clever. So that saves them having to make another piece just to have that curve on it. I love the little loop sign on here. That was a lot of fun to build. And that's how the track looks on the top. This tower, you got to make sure you keep everything nice and tight because you don't want it to mess up the way the cars come off at the top there. Everything's kind of very carefully balanced. So if you find something not working quite right, it's probably just a little bit of tweaking that you're going to have to do. And down here is the lift. There's some stickers right there for that decoration. There's quite a bit of wheels and gears and stuff going on in there. It's pretty cool. There's a little drivetrain kind of thing. And then this mechanism is really cool. That's what stops the train, the cars from getting on there until the lift comes back down. And then inside here, I love this. This is the queue line area. You can see how all of this looks. Got the nice lights here on the side. And I love the angle of the roof. And you got the little doors or the little gates that can open and close. So you can put your minifigures right in there and make it look like they're waiting in line, which is really neat. And there's even a little console right there that runs the ride, which you can just see right in there. It's a little console and everything else right there. The way the roof of this is built is really cool. I love that they actually use pieces of track to make these roof pieces, and then you just use these tiles with the clips on it to add for the rest of the roof, which I thought was a nice look to it. It kind of goes with the whole thing. On the inside here, let me zoom in. These are the pictures that the camera takes. Now that's, I think, just showing that you can buy the pictures. And then here you can see some of the figures having a good time on the ride. This guy didn't adhere to the rules of not having any food allowed on the ride. And there's a running gag involving this squirrel, which I think is hilarious because there's not supposed to be any squirrels allowed on the ride. But then you can see here that the squirrel photobombed that rider. It's hilarious. Here's the gate when you walk in. It's got a nice little ramp. And here's those signs I was telling you about at the beginning. So no hats allowed, no balloons, no food, and no squirrels. Poor squirrel. And then on this side is the height limit, which unfortunately the poor little kid can't ride this. But that's really cool. There's a little sidewalk that goes in there. If I can get up here, and you can kind of see it leads up to the staircase to board the ride. And you can see where the sidewalk leads up to the stairs. There's a little trash can right there. The stairs go up. There's a nice little bit of hand railing, and there's also a nice cute little ladybug just sitting on there, which is really cool. You actually get two of those printed tiles, which I thought was really great. One thing people pointed out, though, is there's a way to get up to the ride, but there's no exit. There's no exit, which I thought was kind of strange. They did have an exit on the other roller coaster, but they didn't have one on this one. On the 2018 roller coaster, there was a gag where they had a baseball cap that was sitting on the ground like it fell off of somebody's head that we sometimes see at those parks. In this one, they have a balloon that got away and it got caught under this ledge, which is pretty darn funny. On the front here, we have some nice plants and shrubbery along the front. And then there's also some down inside the gate there. You can kind of just see a couple of flowers and stuff. And there's another trash bin as well. Sorry, it is really hard to film this because everything is kind of tight inside there. Building the chain was probably the most tedious part of this build. There's 222 or 223 individual little links that you snap together. And I think there's about 33 of the larger ones that actually catch the lift right here, and that's how that works. It's really ingenious, but a little tedious to put those parts together. I actually found that there wasn't enough links because I couldn't get the two ends to come together, so thankfully they do give you some extras. So I probably added 2 or 3 extra links on there just to make sure that it's enough. And it looks like it's loose, but when you, I mean, it's got some play in it, which you do want, but you don't want it too loose either because then the gears are going to start slipping down there. Another thing I found kind of strange is building these struts right here. They have the 2x2 round pieces, you can see them right there, but oddly enough for quite a few of these, they give you just one 2x2 round strut, and then the rest of those are half rounds. I don't know if they did that just to add more pieces to the set, which I thought was kind of strange. I found it kind of unnecessary. Looks like that's actually coming loose right there. But yeah, I just found that to be unnecessary, and I don't know if they did it to bump up the parts count. I mean, when you think about it, 222 pieces are the chain, and then there's 33 more for those larger links. So when you see the piece count, don't forget that those are included in there as well. But I kind of thought that was unnecessary. They could have just simply used the 2x2 round pieces stacked on top of each other and then just put those poles that go down in the middle of them. I think that would have been just fine because that's how the original roller coaster was done. Another thing I changed is the camera right here. So those funny photos that you see in the queue line area, this is the camera that takes those pictures as they're coming around these loops. Well, the way they have you put the camera, it's not really pointing towards anything, and I didn't like that, so I added an extra one of those stick pieces, and I also used another one of those, usually they're like robot arms, and I just extended it out, and now it looks like it's angled more towards the track. So when they're coming down right here and they have that look of terror on their face, that's where you can get the picture taken. So if you want to make it a little more realistic, you can do those little changes to it. Now, of course, all of this is operated by this crank. It's a very smooth mechanism. You just turn it and it operates everything all at once. It's absolutely fantastic how they figured out how to do that. But, of course, you can add a battery pack and a motor right there to the top, and you can motorize this whole thing, and that's how I'm going to do it. In fact, I'm borrowing the battery pack from my other roller coaster. I had an extra motor, so I have another battery pack coming from Amazon. But let me turn it on, and I'll show you how it all looks when it's running. Okay, so I got everybody in their places now, so we're going to go turn this on, and we'll show you how it works. Here it goes. And it's a really fast ride, as you can see, and it's actually timed pretty good. By the time they come back down, the lift is already back down. It looks like a pretty wild ride. So here you can see how they're getting picked up, and you can see the wider chain links right there, and see how it gets narrower? That's what lifts them up, and then they go through the lift. They go through the lift, and then it resets it. So I'll show you again here. So after they get released, see how the chain's going through there? And then on the back here, you'll see the counterweight. There goes the counterweight down that track to help lift it. There's those large links that go all the way through. That's what lets the thing drop back down. And then once that lifts right there, you can see this is the little catch. So if you're hand cranking this, that catch will keep the cars from getting thrown off the track right there. There's also an assist wheel right here that you can see is turning. That helps turn it as well. That works really well. I also like how as soon as they reach the top, it's perfectly timed to come right off onto the track. Right there. You'd think that gap would be a little bit more than it should be, but it still works. I do think that's kind of a large gap right here, but see right there. But it works really good. Like I said, it's timed perfectly. We'll watch them go through the loops right here when they come shooting down here. That is absolutely fantastic. Wow, this is a feat of engineering, I gotta tell you. If any of you watched Lego Masters Season 1, there was two guys in there, they had the beards, and one of them's name was Boone, who now works for Lego, and they both made a roller coaster that's very much like this, where it had a lift mechanism, and I wonder if he had anything to do with helping design this thing, because it's very similar, but I think it looks fantastic. Having it electrified definitely is nicer, so you can just sit back and enjoy it without having to worry about cranking it. Oh man, this is so cool. I don't have the newest batteries in this thing, so it sounds like the motor is struggling a little bit. That's probably why. But here you can see how it's cranking it. Here we can take a look at it from this side. It's a very cool setup. You'll notice I got this sitting on a board. I went to Home Depot and just bought one of those shelves that you can buy, because if you're going to pick this thing up, it's pretty tricky. Those base plates, you know, they're not the thickest thing. I think there's probably tutorials on how to pick this thing up properly, but I figured rather than risk it, I just put the whole thing on this board, and that way I can just pick the whole board up and make it easier to carry it. And it's probably a little longer than I need, but at least also with the board, it gives you room to put your little food carts out here. So I think that's pretty neat. So yeah, I would highly suggest getting a board to help support this thing. So as I mentioned, this set is $400, which, God, I don't know, $400 is a lot of money for this set. I think it really should be around $350, to be honest with you, and that's what I paid for it using my VIP points. And some people would probably say $300 is probably more like it. I think some people have said if it's going to be $400, it should come with the motor and the battery pack, and maybe it should. You know, I think it's about an extra $75 or so to get the battery pack and the motor. I bought them both on Amazon. You can get them at Lego as well. But having it electrified like this definitely, I think, is better. But it works really well, and like I said, if you have areas where it's not working just right, you're probably going to have to tweak it a little bit and figure out what's going on. I actually messed up on the strut right here. This one, I actually made it too long, and I couldn't figure out why this top piece of track wasn't fitting right, and it's because I screwed up. So, I mean, it works perfect if you build it right. So if something's not working right, it's probably something that you might have done wrong, like myself. And also, these sets tend to be, you know, you're going to have to do regular maintenance on some of these things. For instance, you're going to have to keep those tracks dust-free. So if you have it sitting for a while, just clean off the tracks and it should work, you know, pretty good. But I absolutely love this thing. I think it's really cool. I was on the fence about buying it after seeing it because I already had the other one, but this is so cool. I just love this set so much, and I can't stop watching it. It's almost hypnotizing. Alright, well anyway, that's the review for this set, and if you want this set, go to the Lego store to get it. It'll probably go on sale eventually, and maybe that'll be a better time to buy it. Or if you have VIP points like I had, go ahead and use them up on a set like this. And there wasn't a lot of people buying it right now, and I think it's because August is going to have a whole bunch of sets coming out, and I think a lot of people are waiting for those sets, so they don't want to blow $400 on just this one set. I think they're waiting to buy stuff for them. But anyway, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. So, have a good one!